Greetings and welcome, connoisseurs of fine common cardboard. Welcome to today's stream. Thanks for being here. We'll be getting started shortly. All right, time to send it. Let's do this thing. Welcome, connoisseurs of fine common cardboard. Glad to have you on today's special stream with an unnamed guest who you all get to see now. We've got Puzzlebox, my buddy, here to help me work on Sultai Soothsayer. How you doing, buddy?
Not too shabby. And yourself?
Yeah, we're kicking, man. We're hanging in there. Glad to have everybody in the chat today. We're gonna come together to work on a commander that I have had on my radar for some time now, but just never ended up prioritizing because I wasn't terribly interested in doing combo stuff. But I think there was kind of a shift for me, and that was when Tortured Existence started getting played in the format. And it made it clear that a Sultai deck that could reuse some of its creature combo pieces like Peregrine Drake, while also being able to reuse Edict creatures and reuse the initiative, maybe even the Monarch in some cases, would be a really potent combination. So that's what we're here to do. We're gonna give this thing a whirl and see how it goes. I'm gonna do a quick moment check on the stream here. How's the resolution coming from those of you in chat? You want to give me a thumbs up if the music is coming through fine. It's looking like it's a little low res on my end. I'll just take a look at that and give me thumbs up in chat if we're all doing well. Just take a moment here. Music is a little quiet, I guess, but that's fine. Yeah, we want to keep it quiet, not too loud. But good to see you there, Jared. Sorry. I was actually noticing that with some live streams, they won't put any music over the top of it because it just allows other people to listen to music that they want to listen to when they rewatch the VOD. So this way, if it's a little quieter, that makes it so that folks have that flexibility. Anthony Canese, welcome. Glad to have you, friend. And as you can see, there's a couple of chatters already. Seb, Black Grimoire, Chris Lively. That was actually from several weeks ago because the last time that I had this scheduled, I came down with Influenza A and got absolutely leveled the day of my stream and was not there to cancel the stream or anything. So here we are back again. Gonna take another stab at it. This time I think we're gonna have a good stream. So in our discussions, Puzzle, I did come at this with a vision for a particular kind of deck, and you're a Grixis enjoyer, but you're also an enjoyer of combo, and that's
also true.
Kind of one of my. I wouldn't say it's a weakness of mine. I certainly enjoy playing combo from time to time. But for most of you, you know that my focus is on control, mid-range. I'll play a little bit of aggro here and there. So I thought you'd be a great asset for this stream to kind of go through that. So you've done a little bit of exactly what I'm talking about, where you've got Ghostly Flicker, Peregrine Drake, Archaeomancer, so basically blue combo in your Sidraxis Spectre deck. And but then you also have kind of mid-range elements, control elements, and just Sidraxis Spectre is a threat that you can suit up with a cranial plating. And I thought that's an even better fit for this in particular, is kind of thinking about that. So I thought we'd start with some of the obvious ones, and then you can kind of maybe take us on a lead here and see, what cards we might want to start with. So the initiative cards are the first, and the reason for the initiative cards is that we have the ability to reuse them, but also all of these initiative cards are an infinite outlet. So that was kind of my thought, is once we make infinite mana, then we can essentially kill the table with our initiative cards, run through the trap multiple times. Also hitting Throne of the Dead 3. Let's see, initiative. Is that right? Hitting the Throne of the Dead 3 is also a fantastic way to put our combo creatures into play. So, so we got 4 of them here as a start, and then drop in that Peregrine Drake combo. So Peregrine Drake, Ghostly Flicker, and of course Ghostly Flicker also kind of works with all of the ETB elements of the deck too. So Displace, and then we just need Archaeomancer. This is actually, this would be a great place for a package, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Like the package tool in Moxfield hasn't been terribly useful for me because I really do like to assess every card based on its relative merits inside of a deck. But the funny thing is that like the Archaeomancer combo almost always looks the same. Ghostly Flicker, Displace, Peregrine Drake, Archaeomancer, Pneumatic Wall, Salvager of Secrets. Scrivener, yep. Although sometimes Scrivener doesn't make it just because it's only instance.
It's optional.
Yeah, it's an optional one. So Archaeomancer, Mnemonic Wall, and then Salvager. You think we'll ever get any more of this? 5 mana creatures that ETB and get spells back?
I mean, we got the Madness one for red.
That's true, and we got the basic.
Recently,
I mean, the Ardent Elementalist too was like non-madness, just like 4 mana. That was an improvement, wasn't it? We also got the 4 mana 3/2 that when it dies, it does that. And then we got the what's the other one called? It's the one that sacrifices. It's called oh boy,
the exploit one.
Yeah, the exploit.
The possessed scab.
Yeah, possessed scab. That's it. Yep. So yeah, I think we're probably destined to get more of these, which is cool. So, okay, so this is like the package that I had in mind. I'm not even certain that we necessarily need Underdark Explorer in here. So we'll throw this in considering for now, just because it doesn't, I don't know, it dies to a lot of stuff, whereas like these other ones are, thicker 1/4s and whatnot. But this is kind of what I wanted to start with here. And of course, Tortured Existence, which I dare say is kind of the linchpin concept of the deck, was being able to have many goes over the course of the game without, having to worry too much about our combo pieces, because we can just Vortex them back, have a big creature density so that we can present a lot of threats on the board or defenders on the board. So yeah, take us from here. Where does your mind go when we're thinking about these first initial pieces? What kind of elements do we want to work on first?
Okay, so we've got a few options. We can either try to lean really heavy into flicker stuff and just get flicker value. We can lean more into the graveyard aspect. I'm not sure how strong that would really be, considering we are playing all commons. There's stuff there. Or we can just start adding in interaction.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So in terms of, actually another core part of this deck too is Pestilence.
Pestilence, Gary,
and Crypt Rats, and Gary.
Good.
Yep. Yeah. I think essentially like Gary. Come on. Does this actually work? Oh, come on. Is it gray with an E? That's the real question. No, it's gray with an A. So like the thought here was that there's been a lot of these like mid-range combo decks running around where they've got like a very fair plan. Like great example would be Avalanche Caller. You just got a very fair thing going on. And then there's like combos packed into it that we can like land on. And so Pestilence is going to be great because we have a 2/5 that's basically never getting countered or killed, I think, because it's just like drawing a card and filling our graveyard up a bit. These cards can also win us the game in various ways, like Crypt Rats and Pestilence, but they're ultimately, but the deck also has a combo tucked into it. So, got to get rid of that white border. It's about to cause me an aneurysm. So let's drop these in their appropriate places here. So we got sweepers. Drop that in there. I think this is actually one of the rare instances where I feel like I want to tutor for a card. So Dizzy Spell could be yep.
Tutor Tortured Existence.
Yep.
Drift of Phantasms.
Yep.
Ghostly Flicker potentially. And
yeah.
We also get Brain Spoil for Drake and
Flicker
ETB creatures.
Yeah, I really like Brain Spoil here. For those of you who don't know, Brain Spoil is just a kill spell. It's expensive, it's bad, but it's like the only way to tutor for Peregrine Drake. So, yep.
And it can also tutor for Mnemonic Wall if necessary, so it can get 2 parts of the combo still.
Yeah.
And is still a piece of interaction if completely necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that's great. Checks a lot of the boxes there. This is going to be tutors. There we go. And the funny thing is like, it's funny. Tortured Existence can reuse Pneumatic Wall, can Drift of Phantasms as well.
Yep. Drift is very good in Tortured decks.
Yeah.
Same with Dimir Infiltrator.
Dimir Infiltrator, yep, of course. 2 isn't as useful of a number for us in this particular endeavor.
Yep, that is also true.
We could also play Perplex as well if we wanted to do something like that. I kind of like Perplex because it is just a counter spell, and usually people don't want to discard their hand. So
yeah, I
think that's probably fine. Because I don't know that I want to run a ton of counter spells in this deck, I think that there's basically this idea in these like big blue combo decks that you kind of just like run your combo out there until people can't stop you anymore, because you have redundancy, you draw more Chaomancers, you draw more stuff, and in this case we have a way to reuse them. So that's kind of like how we might go over the top here. So removal, stuff like Fleshbag, Marauder is going to be great. Chain Devil. And this kind of gets at the heart of why I really liked Sultai Soothsayer at the beginning, is that it appeared to me that a lot of these combo decks couldn't really defend themselves. And I think Sultai Soothsayer has a lot of really good ways to defend itself because of what it does, because of what the deck do. So like these are a great package of cards that we can leverage. We could even play like a Miracle's Edict as a single way to recur an edict.
It's possible. I like it less when you're in 3 colors.
Yeah.
You have so many other options, but it's still viable.
I have a better one. Curfew.
Yeah, Curfew. Very good.
I feel like Curfew is maybe like one of the best cards in the format in a lot of ways. It's a 1 mana instant speed tutorable protection spell / edict that hits everybody.
Yeah, it feels really good, except for whenever everyone's just got an ETB creature in play, and then it feels horrendous.
Yeah,
but it really depends on the matchup.
Yeah. One of the things I do with Flicker decks, as kind of a rule of thumb, is that I try to have in the tech slots, I try to have 2 of each niche effect in a spell form, like an instant or sorcery, and then 1 in a creature form. And the creature allows me to reuse that effect when I flicker things, and the spell allows me to reuse it from the graveyard with an Archaeomancer. And either of those allow us to create kind of a lock, if we need to, on a particular kind of a thing, so we can always get it back. So Curfew and Fleshbag Marauder are our 2, except that in this case, I think the Chain Devil and the Slum Reaper come along for the ride because we are kind of doing mid-range things.
Yeah, it's definitely feasible.
And then in terms of... okay, so we've got our edicts here. We've got probably the 2 sweepers that we'll run. I was thinking about cards that can get Tortured Existence back as well as Pestilence. It's more of an accident that it gets Pestilence back as well, but like Season of Renewal.
Oh, what's the I just recently played in a draft for a Dominaria. What's that? Repossession or something?
Oh, Urborg.
Yeah, that one's potentially playable.
Yeah, Urborg, I think it is Repossession. Yeah. So 1, you return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. You gain 2 life. If the spell was kicked, you return another. This is really pushed.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, we want that, I think. Yeah, I think that's like everything that we want. Another target permanent. So it's like season. It's the same thing as Season Renewal, basically.
Yeah, it's sorcery speed, which is painful, admittedly, but it can get back a creature and any other permanent.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to go super deep into the self-mill in this strategy. I think that's kind of a dangerous place to go.
I agree, especially with the commons.
Yeah, like the Tortex decks oftentimes have the problem of like milling their Tortex, and that's pretty bad.
Yep.
We do have some mill spells that we could look at. Like Wasteful Harvest is the new one that allows you to mill 5, and then you can return a permanent from among them into your hand. But I think oftentimes we're going to mill 5 and wish that we'd only drawn one of those cards and not put them in the graveyard.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hesitant to do that. But there's a couple of others that do that as well. I think there was a recent one that allows you to get back a permanent as well. Can't remember what it was called though. Let's take a look here. Oh, permanent. Oh, return. CMC equals less than or equal to 4.
Might want to add graveyard to your search because you're counting all the bounce spells too.
Good call. Yeah, I was just realizing that. Graveyard. Maybe it was just I think it might have been Repossession and then Wasteful Harvest were the 2. Yeah, Wasteful Harvest. This card is kind of like Impulse actually in a lot of ways. So fills the art as well. Hey, we have Zonko. Hey, just found this channel. Currently building Catapult Fodder deck. Fantastic. Well, hey, whoa, I just got a little food in my throat there. Zonko, thank you for joining us. Glad to have you today. Catapult Fodder. I'm not familiar with the card.
I played a Catapult Fodder combo deck in draft.
Oh yeah. And then it transforms.
Yeah, it turns into a creature that lets you fling for toughness.
Oh.
So I used it with the combo piece they gave us in that set. It was just Unhallowed Phalanx. It's like a 1/13 that enters tapped.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So you just shoot people for 13.
That's pretty spicy, gotta say. We don't really have a fling commander in the format. Other than that, that's about as close as it gets. And I guess if you're flinging walls at people, that's pretty cool. There's actually a mono black walls deck that is Blight Pile.
Blight Pile.
Yeah, Blight Pile, which I'll pull up here too. There we go. Blight. And this one here would be an interesting one to look at because it's all defenders, and defenders tend to have that high toughness. The fact that it gains you life too, that last one, right? Catapult. What was it called? Catapult?
I don't think that one gains life.
Oh, it doesn't. Okay. Yeah, it's I guess a little bit less appealing in that regard. Like the gaining of the life is pretty important in that kind of a context, but that's still super cool though. Yeah, glad you're building something and glad you found us. Yeah, down in the description below, you'll see the link to get into the Discord chat. And I'll just tell you, for those of you here, I've been kind of blown away by it. But the last couple of days, we've had nonstop, like 12 hours a day, people playing Magic in the server. So if you're looking to play Magic with people from all over the world over Spell Table, this is a great place to do it, particularly for Competitive Pauper Commander. So yeah, go check that out, Zonko, if you're not already in. And yeah, we'll look forward to getting some games with you. So I don't know that Wasteful Harvest goes in here because it's actually not returning a permanent from your graveyard. It's returning it from the cards put there with the spell. So not as useful there.
Yeah, that would just be a draw spell, effectively.
Yep. So. Yep. Now, with Sultai Soothsayer, one of the other thoughts I had, kind of in the beginning when I was first thinking about this, is that this mills us. And so putting cards like Hooting Mandrills or Gurmag Angler.
I was going to say Angler is probably included in this deck.
Can we search Gangler? Oh my god, you can.
Got all the letters.
That makes me happy. Cool, so that, and then what about Hooting Mandrills?
Yeah, that one seems reasonable.
Yep, 1 mana 4/4 trample. Pretty cool. So those are good, and then the other thought too, and this was kind of where we found some interesting, where I found myself thinking about some interesting stuff, and that was, do we play the normal ramp package, or do we play Mana Rocks and Cranial Plating? Just have Cranial Plating in the deck.
The normal ramp package.
It would, yeah. I guess that's an indistinct term. That's a good clarifying question. Yeah. So when we talk about, like, when I think of the word ramp, I think rampant growth. I think, like, grow from the ashes, into the north. Kodama's Reach, Cultivate, Harrow, that kind of stuff. And that has some utility in that it's going to fill up our yard with stuff that we can use with, like, a Gurmag Angler or Hooting Mandrills. Alternatively, the other way to do it is you build around Mana Rocks, which have all these extra effects on them. And then we have a Cranial Plating lurking in the deck. And eventually you play it and it's giving your dudes +4/+0, and you can just kill people with that. What are your thoughts?
Personally, I tend to lean more towards Artifact Ramp. I like the 2 CMC land ramp spells. I think they're good. I think Kodama's Reach and Cultivate are fine. But I prefer the additional value that cards like Bonder's Ornament have. Yeah. But that's also personal preference because, they're easier to interact with.
Yeah, there's, to a degree too, this deck is going to have so much card advantage in it that a part of me wonders whether we need something like Bonder's Ornament. And we could just focus on efficiency,
Yeah, so like
maybe...
That's fair. Bonder's Ornament, if it's in play, does disincentivize other people from activating theirs potentially still. So it does a little something, but that also requires other people to have it in play and the mana to activate it.
Yeah.
So on and so forth.
Yeah. Well, in terms of 2 CMC effects, there's kind of a lot of them where we could ramp. So we're probably looking at like 12, maybe like 12 ramp cards in the deck. So I bet we could do most of them 2 CMC if we, which would mean a turn. That would mean well, actually 3 CMC is fine in this deck because it's a 5 mana commander, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, you can make an argument for mana dorks in this deck, like the 3 1-drop dorks, because you're playing initiative and they can block. So there is a bit of an argument for that as well. And they give you fodder for your edict creatures if necessary.
That's really interesting. Yeah. Kind of plays against our own sweeper plan, but that's kind of okay. Usually when you're using a sweeper, it's because you need to reset the board, and it's okay if you lose a little bit of your own, especially because those creatures, later on, they're just not as useful.
Yeah, like, I don't care if I'm activating Pestilence if my 1/1 dies because it's a 1/1.
Yeah,
I'm activating Pestilence.
Nobody has ever cared about that. Okay, so that said, we're in colors that we can get the best ramp possible, right? We could have a really premium ramp package with, like, Farseek is probably in there just because it's going to find us a duel, right?
Yep. That or Mystic Sanctuary if we end up playing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to run in 3 colors, but
Mystic Sanctuary?
yeah.
Especially because we're going to be...
You can, but it's rough.
I'm not convinced we need it in this deck. We're going to have other things to do. And I think that there's going to be... We're going to get our mana pulled in a lot of directions. Felwar Stone, black and blue are definitely likely to be there. Green is... This is almost going to be like a... I think it's probably going to be a really good Brock most of the time. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, you're in 3 colors.
Yeah.
Felwar Stone's good.
Yep. I think Felwar Stone's solid. I think Arcane Signet goes in there. So maybe it's not about being dogmatic about like what kind of ramp we use, but just using really efficient ramp. The only thing about the elves that I'm not interested in as much is that they only make green for the most part. There are some examples where they don't.
That's a very fair point.
And green, I think, is going to be the last color of the deck, right? It's like mostly blue-black with a splash of green. So it's like Verdant Dimir. Verdant Dimir.
Yeah, green is basically almost always going to be a support color for cPDH. That's just how it is.
Yep. That's a good point. So something like Dimir Signet, I think the stock on this goes up quite a bit because we are blue-black. I kind of like that. Usually I'm not into the Signets as much. But that seems good.
Yeah, I play Signets and Spectre.
Okay, yeah, good. And actually, that being said, if we could play the other ones too, right? Would we want to play the ones that make black-green and blue-green as well? Because they're both producing the primary color? Because, like, think about this. When you have the 2 mana rocks...
still ramp you. Yeah.
Right, like in Quasar, for example, you are a blue deck, oftentimes, that happens to have... black and white, but they're black and the white are secondary, and so you really only want you only want 2 of the rocks, and that's the one that makes blue and something and blue and something, right? In this case, though, we actually want, because we have 2 dominant colors, we want all 3 of them, right? Because they're all going to make a color that we want. Okay, so let's look up Signet here. So we want Golgari and Simic.
I will say that if we are arguing for those Signets, I would also argue for Fertile Ground and Utopia Sprawl, potentially.
Adds an additional 1 mana of any color. Yeah, why not? Right?
Because same as the Signets, it ramps you by 1, but, you know, that taps for any color.
Yeah, I also like that it doesn't...
And it has the exact same efficiency of the Signets in the fact that if you played on 2, you can't use that mana.
Yeah. This is only on a forest, though.
Yeah, that's why I said that one's more questionable, because it is restricted.
Yeah, what was the other one you're thinking of?
It was those 2.
Okay.
You could play Wild Growth, but again, that's like an Arbor Elf.
Yeah. I think we probably want to avoid that. We've got a lot of these that we haven't looked at yet, where, like, Growth Spiral, I don't think we want that.
I don't like that one.
No, not into that. I've actually been finding some really awesome homes for Elysian Caryatid lately, which has been kind of fun. Like, I put this one, and there's one that actually has the text for Ferocious that I put in Mr. Orfeo, which I'm pretty pumped about. So, Into the North, great one.
Yeah, it's playable.
Yep. I mean, it's going to be basically the same thing as Farseek, except because this is going to get a Snowland, so this will get us the duels. Okay, cool. So we got that one. What else? Nature's Lore.
Nature's Lore can hit duels still.
It's forest specifically, but I think that's still okay because we'll be able to find like Simic, whatever.
Yeah, hitting duels still makes it decent, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Rampant Growth. Yeah, I think we play Rampant Growth. What are your thoughts on that? Does that check out for you?
Yeah, I think it's still fine. Like, if it costs 2, it's probably playable.
3 visits.
It's never unplayable at 2. That's my opinion.
Yeah, okay. So 3 visits, and I think we're close. Yeah, this is the one, Whisper of the Wilds here. Pretty cool.
I remember that card.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's a good start there. Let's take a gander at our ramp package here. and get this all organized. For those of you that want to follow along here with the list yourself, both Puzzle and I will be working on this, and if you have other cards you want to add to, you can always add them, Puzzle. I'm going to drop the link in chat so you guys can reference that while we do this. So I'm just going to pull these over. So we really did focus on two mana ramp here, which I don't necessarily know whether that's like a necessary thing to do, but the fact that we have access to it is really kind of nice. Like that's 10.
Yeah, being in 3 colors, one of which being ramp, means you get premium ramp.
The premium ramp.
Said, so.
Yeah.
I'll start adding cards to the considering.
Oh, great. Yep.
And then we can talk about them.
Great.
While we still work.
Yeah. Oh, Fertile Ground as well. That was a good one. Are there any other 2 CMC auras that we would want to, like Abundant Growth?
That's the only one at 2 CMC.
Oh, that's not a ramp.
3.
Yeah. Abundant Growth isn't ramp either. So.
Yeah, Abundant Growth is just fixing.
Arkham's Astrolabe comes to mind as well, but I think we're gonna have less basics in the deck because it's a 3-color deck. It's kind of funny, like how 3-color decks almost want you to have that mana fixing, but Astrolabe demands that you have basics, and because you only have 1 Astrolabe in the deck, you don't want to skew hard basics just for the Astrolabe.
Yep.
Right. There's some complicated stuff there. Okay, so that's a good start there. I'm going to start pulling over more of these 2 into draw. We'll do draw, yeah. And then we'll do combo. This is going to be life gain.
Okay. That's interesting. I think Brainstorm is pretty good in this deck.
Because of the shuffling? Like all of these like ramp spells?
Not only that, but even if we're gonna flicker our commander, we can Brainstorm in response to the trigger and then just ditch the cards we don't want.
Interesting. Oh,
so it even works with our commander.
Oh, it's really good, isn't it? Yeah, Brainstorm is good. I tend to shy away from
I know you do. That's why I brought it up for this.
Yeah. No, that's perfectly fine. But here's the thing. I am not one to be dogmatic about this kind of a thing, right? Like if it's good in the deck, it's good in the deck, and I think that it's important to be able to like discern between the two. So I think that's perfectly fine to have Brainstorm in there. We've got a commander that's 5 mana, so Rush of Knowledge is looking really good. Rush of Knowledge is draw cards equal to the most CMC among creature or permanents you control. So like at the bare minimum, it's probably going to draw 3, but there's times where we're going to have like Gurmag Angler or like Hooting Mandrills out, and it'll be really hype. That's a Pauper interaction there, where you ritual, Gurmag Angler, Rush of Knowledge, and draw a whole bunch of cards.
Yep.
Okay, Secrets of the Golden City.
Yep, that's definitely playable.
Yep. Yeah, this has been a sleeper card of 2022, I would say, in the sense that like it existed in the format, but people weren't really playing it that much, and now it's like in most blue decks because it's a 3 mana draw 3. So. Yeah,
it turns out drawing 1 for 1 on your mana is not awful.
Not bad. Yeah. So looks like we could take on maybe one more ramp spell, which could be could be a Bonder's Ornament.
Heirloom.
Honored Heirloom. Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. Gives you extra interaction.
I would say Honored Heirloom would take precedent over Bonders in this case, if we're trying to keep it at 12. And 12 has been a bit of a sweet spot, I think. 12 is where you have like it's like an 85% chance of having one of these and 2 lands in your opener. So
Yeah, I like to stay between 10 to 15,
Yeah.
20 if I'm really extreme, but those are like, that's like a Modi.
Yeah. Boy, does it feel good to play decks like that, though. You know, it kind of like...
I hate it.
Really?
I hate it, but...
Is he just like ramping really hard? You're not into it?
I hate green. I don't like just ramping for the first 4 turns of the game because I feel like I'm not doing anything and I'm not interacting at all. So I personally hate it, but that's just me.
I can understand that perspective. Like for me, playing a lot of the decks that I do, it feels so good to ramp like that because like whatever I've got in the command zone is good enough that I just want to be able to do that, right? And ramping means I can do that. So it's kind of a funny tension of ideas there. I like that. Yeah. Okay, so we got these here. We got to switch this printing over to that. There we go.
I've got a good swath of cards added to considering.
So for those of you who don't know, too, you can add collaborators on Moxfield by going up here and going plus. The person has to be following you, and you have to be following them. You add them in, and then it'll ask you if you want to enable that kind of a thing. And then you can see down here, Puzzle's been adding cards. Good cards, as you can see. Really good cards. So yeah, we move Oubliette to the main board. There's just like no reason to not run that card. Echoing Truth is usually like a one-of bounce spell at a minimum in a blue deck because it is technically a sweeper for tokens while also being a way to bounce problematic permanents like an Honored Heirloom, a Relic of Progenitus, a Tormod's Crypt. So this is just like a staple card. You kind of just play this. So we'll move that in. Go for the throat.
For flicker, when you need to get rid of a piece of Grave Hate before you combo.
Yep.
And you just go get rid of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And go for the throat. Great pick as well. This is the best removal spell in the format, probably. Or the most playable, I would say. Like, not necessarily the best, because it really depends on the context, but it is splashable. It hits almost everything. It's really a great card. So we're going to move that into... Hey, Jin Shooting Star, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here today. Just wanted to give a shout out to you, Jin. You wrote the nicest thing to the Playing with Power crew on Twitter there. I really appreciated the tag. And, folks doing that kind of stuff where the community, like, independently says, hey, we want to see more of this is exactly how you get more of that. So thank you so much for the support and for the, for your help there. I see you put in Siphon Mind here. This is a fantastic card for this deck. Gotta go get the Onslaught printing though. Gonna move that to main board. Siphon Mind is like one of the only. It is, I think, the only black card that can match the raw like volume of cards that you can draw in blue. And so it kind of is a staple. Feed the Swarm also a staple. It's just really good. Candlekeep Sage is interesting. I don't know that we're going to get a lot of value out of this. What was your thought here? Because I can see it if we're flickering our commander, right?
We are a flicker deck. However, yeah, since our commander already draws a card, it's not as valuable as it is in other decks. But it's still worth at least considering, just for the fact that it's still an absurd amount of card draw.
It is. I mean, like that means when we play our commander, we know, I mean...
That's 3 cards off of casting your commander at some point.
Yeah, for sure. And, the other thing we could do is we've got all the edicts in here. We could happily sack our commander to draw cards off of this, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's what Jin's saying.
Yeah. Jin Shooting Star, yeah. Gator, what's up, dude? And Jin saying, don't Candlekeep, isn't it busted with ETB sack? Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's exactly it. I think it's interesting. I worry that it's a bit conditional because where I like Candlekeep Sage the most, and this isn't to say we won't play it, because we may want it, but the best home for Candlekeep is when we're actively flickering our own commander, which I think may happen in cases here, or the other instance is when our commander is very threatening and is likely to die often. So Real Surreal is a good example of that, where it's like Candlekeep is gonna get you like a lot of cards. I've drawn
partner decks with a threatening one like Dargo Malcolm.
Oh yeah, for sure. So So I'm a little more dubious on this one. Witness protection's cool. We could play like a Shrine Steward package in here and have witness protection. Although if I was going to have one target for witness protection that was removal, I would say Deep Freeze would be my pick because it's so much harder to get out from under a Deep Freeze.
Yep, that's true.
Okay, you've got Thorn of the Black Rose here. What are your thoughts on Monarch here? It doesn't do the same dual duty that Initiative does, but it is just powerful, and this is like a lot of times it's like easy to say Monarch or no, but this thing is a 1/3 with Death Touch, so it's like more than that. It's just, you know, good creature.
It really depends on what our creature count is at the end of the day.
I think it's going to be over 20.
But yeah, I assume we're going to have a high creature count, and we're playing a mid-range deck, and we're already playing Initiative. And generally, I think if you feel safe playing Initiative, you should feel safe playing Monarch.
Bingo. I don't know how people like the 2/5 that we're going to have in play is going to be such an interesting thing. Like, are people going to kill this thing so that they can get through damage on us? Like, that'll be kind of funny.
Not.
I mean, I genuinely think that they probably shouldn't. But
yeah,
like,
I hope not.
for their sake, I hope not too. For my sake, if they're killing my commander in this deck, I think we're just like way ahead on cards. Like,
I mean, it's great for us, but it's also like we are one of the police at the table, and if the other policeman is wasting their removal on our blocker, that feels really bad too.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. But we're also not going to be like the problem at the table for the most part, you know?
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
So one of the things I saw here too that you had was a Aether Spellbomb Blood Fountain, and this is of course because we're going to play Trinket Mage too, right?
Yep, I threw Trinket Mage in after.
Oh, after? Yeah, I figured you probably did. Yeah,
Yep.
You're on top of it. There it is. So we'll just we'll pull that off. If you want to pull the cards off as I add them in, actually, that'd be great. Capsize seems great here too. I really like that we're going to have a boomerang effect in the deck. Capsize is going to be like infinite payoff. That's great. It's also a way to bounce a land that has a lot of auras on it. So great card.
Yeah, you really don't ever need to do that.
No.
No,
you
there's
don't.
not a deck in the format
No.
that would make you do that. So.
Why would anyone ever want to bounce a land? I just like it seems really land destruction is bad in cPDH. We have Anthony Canese saying Winter's Rest is okay removal in snow decks. Yeah, so Winter's Rest is like a permanent tap down for 2. It's like icing it forever.
It's like a 2-drop.
It's 2. Yeah, 2-drop aura.
Whatever that one, the initial one is called.
Yep.
I can't think of the name.
Winter's Rest is interesting. Tapping down is good. Yeah, we could throw that in considering. We have cards like Witness Protection, and we have Deep Freeze, which can do the same thing. So we'll have to see how that plays.
It makes it even more difficult just because, yeah. It's
Okay.
like we have access so much.
So we need removal now. Yep. So we're going to bring this Oubliette in. We're going to breed this Feed the Swarm in. Aether Spellbomb in. The Blood Fountain is interesting because it's like another... It makes sense. We're starting to get kind of deep on this, which maybe is fine. Right? Maybe that's okay. And then we're going to go draw for that. And then removal as well here. We're going to go Capsize, go for the Throat for removal. Echoing Truth is removal as well. Trinket Mage is a tutor, as well as being a creature. Trinket Mage is great here. Thorn of the Black Rose, which is also going to be draw. And then we've got I put Underdark Explorer back in. I think it's just like obligatory. If we're doing like initiative stuff and we really want to be an initiative deck, then that's going to be good. All right, let's see what else Santa's brought us here, chat, in the considering section. Okay, so we got Planner Incision. The hidden mode on Planner Incision.
Hey, he gets it.
Yeah. This is removal when it needs to be. So Snuff Out comes in.
Read from the reel. That's what it is.
Oh yeah. Yep. It's removal against anything where the person wants to flicker or, things of that nature. But it's also a flicker for us, so I think that's great.
It's also really funny against flicker loops because even though they still get to flicker, if you respond to their ghostly flicker by flickering their Archaeomancer, their Archaeomancer cannot get their ghostly flicker back because it's still on the stack.
That's really funny.
Flickers.
That's really funny. Oh my god. I love it. That's great. It's flexible, So we're sitting at 56 cards. Let's throw some lands in. I think we're looking at 34, 35, probably.
35 seems reasonable. We do have a lot of ramp, but we do still have a 5-mana commander, so being on the higher side isn't bad.
So let's say 6 forest. And we're just going to kind of go willy-nilly with this here. Say 15. No, it'd be like 14. Swamp. We're going to come back and tune this later on. Snow covered, of course. Because, And then 15 snow covered island. And that'll give us a 35. And this is actually going to be remove all 6 snow covered forest. Yep. And then we have Monarch, Elf, or Pirate. Yeah, so we're talking about Entourage of Trust.
I like the Pirate. I'm not certain on the Elf, since we already have a big butt commander and a high creature count.
Yeah, so the thing about the Entourage that I really like about it is that it blocks 2 things. So it's pretty fantastic at holding the Monarch. So like where I don't like Azure Fleet Admiral, which is the 4-mana 3/3, it only gains unblockable when we've already lost it. And I feel like the trick is to not give it up so easily, right? Which is where Entourage
definitely not.
Yeah.
But, you can't do anything. Well, you can, but you probably shouldn't do anything about it if they're taking it with their own Monarch creature. So
That's
I
true.
don't hate it.
Yeah.
But they're both decent.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little more expensive. I guess they're not more expensive than what we already have, but I think the 2 that are in are kind of like the big 2.
Mm-hmm.
Just because Death Touch and Vigilance are more generically useful. But
yeah, I'm interested in the Entourage of Trust. This may not last though. We just may need to see kind of how that
once
comes
again,
along.
We're in 3 color. We have
amazing draw.
So many options.
Yeah, like we don't even have Night's Whisper in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think we'll go Sign and Blood because the double black I think is going to be.
It makes it rough.
Yeah. But something like Read the Bones could play.
Yeah, Read the Bones, not bad.
Although, is there blue draw that doesn't cost us life that we'd be happier to have?
Let's see. We could play. Yeah. Oh, also on the black draw, if you want, you could. Since you're in green, it's more reasonable for you to play the Domain draw spell.
Oh, Shadow Prophecy. Oh, that's a really good call. This is, with the duels that we have in the deck, this is often going to be look at 3, draw 2, 1 into the yard. That's a great call.
We've got Treasure Cruise for blue, Scattered Thoughts.
Anthony's saying, yeah, that curve is high. Yeah, I think, yeah. There's we're going to want to look at this and just make sure that we're not getting ourselves in too deep here with that stuff. Like it's possible that Entourage is just not necessary if our draw spells are huge. But it's a good defensive card, so there is that.
G-Probe, Treasure Cruise,
you
Scattered Thoughts are all potential candidates.
Oh, Treasure Cruise, yeah. That does put us up to, Gator, that's right, exactly. Dimir, it's what I'm calling Verdant Dimir. So it's not going to be, like the green is going to be for some of the ramp. I think like There's some other stuff we could play, like Reclaim. I think could be really good in this deck. And
Reclaim.
I think Reclaim might even be the preferable version of Urborg Repossession. Urborg Repossession. What I like about Reclaim is that it's like a thing we can do to present our combo at the end of basically, right away. And people won't be prepared for it. Like, this is a card that wins games in a lot of cases. It's so flexible, being able to put anything.
Yep.
And actually, speaking of which, we probably need to play Crop Rotation too, right?
It depends on what utility lands we play.
Yep. I was thinking the Bog, Mortuary Mire, and Haunted Fengraph is another option, but I think we'd probably be better with just Mortuary Mire. So like Mortuary Mire, Bog.
Okay. Wait, is Mortuary Mire the Mystic Sanctuary?
It is, no, so that's Witch's Cottage.
Okay, I was gonna say, you want to play that one, but not Mystic Sanctuary?
No, no. Yeah, we want Bajuka Bog, we want Mortuary Mire, and we want green is for the Cottage and Colony Garden, and then blue is just Mystic Sanctuary. It's just Mystic Sanctuary. Oh, but we would also want the Dimir Aqueduct, because whenever you're running Crop Rotation in a deck with like black and stuff, then what you can do is if you need your Crop Rotation to be Graveyard Hate and you've already played your Bajuka Bog, then you can EOT end a turn, Crop Rotation, which is going to allow you to search your library for any land card. You get Dimir Aqueduct, pick up with the Dimir Aqueduct the Bajuka Bog that you need or the Mortuary Mire that you need, and then on your turn you can play it, put that creature to the top, or exile somebody's graveyard. So basically Dimir Aqueduct is like a redo on your on whatever you've got. We've got Fat Panties XXX hopping in the chat. What's up? Glad to have you here. Thanks for joining us today. So yeah, Crop Rotation seems good. We could put Mystic Sanctuary in, assuming we have
I don't like it. I
not
hate
hot.
to say it, but
yeah,
it's so hard to play in 3-color.
Yeah, I agree. So I feel like this is...
We're not even on cranial plating with artifact lands.
Right, not yet. Yeah. Although I don't think that we...
from here.
I don't think we will. It's only 8 artifacts right now. We would have to bend this right here.
No, we're not. I'm just saying, like, as soon as you're on that, you just can't play any of the Mystic Sanctuary variants.
Totally. It's kind of an interesting thing, but like, you can build a deck that has cranial plating in it where it works if you have between 15 and 20 artifacts in the deck. So you can feasibly do that with just rocks. But that's not what we've done here. I think we're like, part of the reason we want cheap ramp in this deck is because we do want to start things off early by getting our mana fixed. It's not so much about the efficiency of the spell. It's about like turn 2, I want my mana to be good, so I think that I like this formula here. Let's cut a few lands. For those of you that aren't familiar with Moxfield, you can do some pretty cool stuff here. Alt 2 is remove a card when you hover over it. Alt 1 is adding a card in to a stack. So we're at 97 cards. We're actually like pretty close to like a deck that you could just like play, which is pretty funny. Like, you could just play this right off the bat. Do we want the artifact lands in here for Trinket Mage? Seems like a good idea. Trinket Mage on 3, fix our mana.
Bridge.
Yeah, at least missed. Oh god, we'll just do bridge.
And we need all the snow duels.
That's right. Type snow, type land. So we're gonna do Rimewood, Ice Tunnel, this, and then we'll also do type swamp, type.
Yeah, I was gonna say
island,
we might
contaminated.
Play the not.
I think we do, because so many of our ramp spells are looking for a duel of some sort. So type swamp, type island. So now we do type forest, for the green-black one, which is Haunted Mire. And then we do Forest
Island.
Type Island. Yeah, is that it? Oh, yeah. Tangled Islet. Yeah. Okay. And then we can cut down on these now. And I've just guessed on these numbers here. We'll come back and fix that later. We don't need much more than that, right? Like, we have our good ETB duels, and we have the good ETB like utility lands, and we have the way to reuse it with the Mirror Aqueduct. And then we have a single... Oh, you know what we should have too? Is probably an untapped artifact land.
Yeah, we could play...
I guess
could play all three if you wanted to.
You could. I don't know that we need to, right?
Yeah, it's not necessary.
Yeah, I feel like it's more...
How much are we playing that cares about snow, though?
I think it's just one, which is Into the North. And then I think... yeah, it's just...
I don't think it's a bad idea to play all three, then. Just to make sure Trinket Mage can get us whatever we need.
Yeah, I think that's fine. And the other thing is that a lot of times I'll do the 3 untapped lands and the 3 other ones. I don't think there's any price to that for us, is there? Because we're not relying on land types.
The
so
only
like Vault of Whispers
is the fact that we're in 3 colors and we're already playing, what, 8 tapped lands?
Right, but what I'm saying is that we just sub basics out for 3 artifact lands.
Yeah, so the untapped artifact lands.
Yep.
I agree.
So that would be Vault of Whispers. And the reason for this is that there are some cases where the land that you find, you want it to be both untapped and you don't need the other colors. Or you just really want it to be untapped. Like Seat of the Synod. This is like one of those...
Tales, I think?
Yeah, Tree of Tales. This is probably the least useful of them.
Yep. But it does allow us to use our Trinket Mage to go into our green ramp if we didn't find a green source for some reason.
So then what are the other ones? Tangle Pool Bridge.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the other bridges as much.
Yeah, the most important one is Mist Volo, right? So maybe what we do is we say we play Mist... what's it called again? Mist Vault. We play Mist Vault, and then we don't play the other duels, because blue-black is our most important, and then we play one of each of the untapped so that we can fix our mana. I think that's actually a really disciplined approach to this.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it, I think.
Oh, what's really nice here, too, is we've got these basics, which are tutorable with our initiative. So, nice little package there.
If we need green, we need 1 green.
Yep, 1 green.
We don't have a card in the deck that has more than 1 green pip, so we don't need to play the green duels for Trinket Mage.
It's a really good point. Yeah, this deck is going to have fantastic mana. That's the really cool thing about it. So we have 3 slots left. Crop Rotation becomes a tutor. I feel like... man, it is kind of a shame that we don't have like Cranial in the deck too, because with 3 colors you get access to so many more artifact lands that your artifact count is naturally higher. So like there could be a world where we go and instead of focusing on like this green ramp, what we could do instead is like cut Rampant Growth and maybe 3 visits because it's only forest. Oh, actually, there's a couple of them. So Nature's Lore, 3 visits, and Rampant Growth would come out, and then we would play, like... Bonders, Network Terminal, maybe...
You could play Mind Stone.
Or Everflowing Chalice off of Trinket Mage.
Chalice is decent, too, yeah.
Although the colorless in a 3-color deck is, like, concerning.
It's concerning, but, you know, most of our cards have 1 pip, so it's not horrendous.
That's a good point. Yep.
And yeah, if we need the pips, then we just get a land with the Trinket Mage.
So if we were
also the problem of if you draw it.
If we were to do that, we would go up 2 artifact lands and up 3 rocks, which would put us at 17.
Yep.
17 artifacts.
The same count as my Spectre.
Yeah.
And my Cranial Plating is very frequently a 5/6 pump.
Oh yeah. Oh, and there's so many flyers in this deck, so many evasive creatures, like Vicious Battle Rager with a cranial plating, like even like our Cochrane Sneak, Hooting Mandrills, Mole Drifter. You can even put it on a Peregrine Drake. You can put it on Underdark Explorer. It's just like a lot of good targets for it. So I think this is actually. I think this is.
So we're choosing between Cranial Plating and Rock Ramp right now, which is a little bit more expensive for us.
Yeah.
Versus being able to play domain spells with the domain card draw.
It's a good point.
That's really, and the 2-mana land ramp, which is less interactable.
Let's think about it.
That's the decision we're making.
Bojuka Bog, Mistvault Bridge, Mortuary Mire, Seat of the Synod, Tree of Tales, Vault of Whispers. So currently only 6 of our lands aren't a basic land type. Everything else is a basic land type.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is probably good enough for that Shadow Prophecy.
Yeah, right now. But I'm saying if we start playing the other artifact duels, we're probably cutting the non-snow duels because we don't want to go too overboard on tapped lands.
Yeah, how many tap lands do we have right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that's as much as I... Well, we don't have to put the artifact lands in there. We could just be at 15 artifacts.
Yeah, so Inspector, since it's a plating deck, what I do is my duels are the artifact duels.
So we could shave on that.
I have the artifact duels, and I have the full gate package.
Oh, and you also have Basilisk Gate too.
Basilisk Gate as well as Heap Gate, which makes artifacts. And then I have Bojuka Bog. So I have about 10 tapped lands in that list.
Kind of a tension there.
Then you don't get to play your land ramp. So you kind of have to pick between playing the land ramp and the domain spell with the dual lands or artifacts for cranial plating.
And the domain spell that we're looking at right now is Shadow Prophecy, which, like, admittedly, Shadow Prophecy is not something I'm necessarily willing to bend the deck over, because we could just play blue draw in this section. Like, we don't necessarily need to lose life.
Yeah, the question is more about the land ramp than that spell, but that spell is good.
Yeah, it is good.
So yeah, it's more about how you want to ramp, because we are switching out 2-drop ramp for 3-drop ramp in a couple instances. So it is a bit slower, but it's also a bit more utility, and we're playing mid-range. So, like,
yeah,
that's not bad.
Right.
And our commander costs 5, so 3 CMC ramp isn't horrendous by any means.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really interesting question. Here, let me get that music back on here real quick. Got to make sure that we aren't on any. So you got to turn the autoplay off here too, just so it doesn't. Sometimes you got to watch out when you're streaming. If you have autoplay on, sometimes it'll send you into a into music that is not copyright protected.
Yeah.
So you gotta turn that autoplay. Where is autoplay off? Clear. Yeah, clear. There we go. Cool. Sweet. So let's see here. We got. Okay, so then the question would be, do we want to swap out some of the Tangled Islet type stuff? Like, how many of these specific land type cards do we need? We've got Farseek then, and Into the North would be the only 2.
Yeah, so we've got Farseek, Into the North, and then we've got the Nature's Lore, Rampant Growth. Rampant Growth doesn't hurt, actually. That one's still functional. 3 visits in Nature's Lore.
Here's another thing. Got to keep this in mind too. The more we cut the ramp, the less good Gurmag and Hooting Mandrills become.
Yep. That is also true.
Which is a concern of mine, because we're also looking at putting Treasure Cruise in the deck. So maybe what we do here, let's put Treasure Cruise in first as well.
I think we build this list as we were and ignore the artifact stuff, put
Yep.
it all in considering.
Yep.
And then we duplicate the deck. And we can make an artifact variant.
Big brain play. Yep. So do you think that there's too much tension, though, to have a cranial plating in the deck right now?
I think cranial plating is fine, especially if we play the Executioner's Capsule as well as another Trinket Mage target.
Yep, we got it. Oh, wait, we don't. Wait.
It's in considering still, I think.
Oh. Huh, okay. Move that back into main board. That does mean that we are sitting on... Oh, okay, that's not too bad. I mean, it's only 9 pieces of removal, so it's almost like we're focusing less on removal and more on just, like, having enough stuff that it's hard to attack us.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
And then, you know, since you're mid-range and drawing cards, you're more likely to find that removal still and just be able to hold it up and point it at the problematic people. And you're less pressured to be the only policeman and being forced into your removal. But, you know, that's part of playing this kind of mid-range is you can't have the answer every time.
Right.
And you do have to rely on somebody else helping you because you're playing value to some extent.
There's a lot of elements that kind of spook me here. One is that we don't have, like, a whole lot of counter magic. I usually am not worried about that.
Yep,
but
we do need to add some counter spells.
Yeah, so like Mirror Shell Crab works really nice with Tortex. So that's an option.
Yeah, I was holding off on counter spells, but
yeah, but here we are.
Arcane Denial.
Yep.
Counter spell is potential, but the double pip kind of hurts.
I think we just do Dispersal Shield as well.
Yep, Dispersal Shield. So do you want to use... What's your main target with these counter spells?
Well, I don't want to have more than like 5. I probably like 4 is a good number. And I'd like them to be flexible to draw cards too. So like Soul Read is one I was thinking about. Soul Read is either a draw spell or a counter spell. It's 4 mana, so it's expensive, but it's a, you know, it's a 4 tax command spell. Also instant speed draw too.
I've played it in one deck, and I wasn't impressed with it, but I could have just been the wrong deck for it. So I'd like to see it played out more to get a better idea of it.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it's just really expensive, and the fact that it's not a true counter spell is painful with some of the big mana meta at the moment. But
yeah, maybe it doesn't make the cut. We're not as big mana as some of those other ones.
I personally am still a really big fan of I already forgot the name immediately. Dispel in terms of protection.
Okay.
Just because we are a combo deck and it's 1 mana. I like Dispel.
Yeah. I think that's fine. Like the things that we're going to be...
If you don't want to play it, it's an optional counter spell.
Yeah. We want basically like, we don't want to have multiple pip counter spells.
Yeah. Yep.
Like I think Perplex plays here because it hits a lot of really good things. I could see us really wanting to keep that. We are at 104. So like...
Negate is another option if you don't want to play Dispel because it's too niche.
That's an option. I don't mind that. Yeah. Dispel also, or Negate also allows us to counter like Graveyard Hate.
Yeah.
I think that's that modality is nice. I'm gonna say let's cut Entourage of Trust. I think this is becoming a drag. Drift of Phantasms is...
We have Tort.
Yeah. So maybe one of these needs to go.
Yeah.
We don't have... like, Urborg Repossession is by far the more flexible of them. Right? It's not instant, though.
It's not instant speed, which is painful.
This one gets an enchantment and a creature, whereas this one can get 2 creatures.
Is this deck slow?
Yes.
This deck is aiming to be slow if it needs to be.
Yep.
And go hard on tutoring for combo pieces.
Yep.
If it wants to be the fastest. So it wants to be modal in terms of speed.
Is asking, wouldn't aggro run you over? I don't know necessarily, because we have we've got like a Good Edict package, which is nice. We have some sweepers here that we can reuse. And the other thing is that our commander is a 2/5. 2/5 black creature does not die to very much. And so I think it's going to be hard for aggro decks to like find that combat is profitable, right?
If the aggro deck targets this deck and can kill us by turn 5, yes, we get run over. Assuming we don't draw 1 piece, maybe 2 pieces of removal in the early game.
I'm also not convinced that the aggro deck should be coming after us in a large percentage of the pods.
But yeah, we aren't necessarily like the turbo combo deck, so we're not going to get targeted for that. And I don't know. I'm never sure if aggro decks should actually hit each other. Or just
I don't think that they should.
Up.
Yeah.
I think they should not. So that's rough. If there's 2 aggro decks, we're dead. Unless we draw Crypt Rats into wipe for 4 on turn 4. But, you know, that's... If you're not playing aggro or turbo combo, you're probably going to lose to aggro decks if there's 2 at the table.
Yeah.
And that's just
Agreed.
Part of the duality of a 4-player format.
Yep. And we got we got Clay up in here asking, are you tutoring for Pestilence? Yeah, Dimir Houseguard. Being able to reuse that with Tortex is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's a potential.
4 is also hitting Monarch with Throne. It hits Initiative with Vicious Battle Rager and Eric Cochran Sneak. It actually tutors for Archaeomancer. And it also tutors for... you can also do it for something like... Chain Devil. I mean, I think that's actually pretty good.
Siphon Mind.
Yeah, and that's the other one. Yeah, Siphon Mind. I think Dimir Houseguard's great in this, actually. Yeah. It's also just a body we can play if we need to. Yeah, good call there. Good call there, Clay. Okay, so Cranial Plating is starting to look like a hard sell.
Yeah, I don't think it goes in this version. As
we get deeper into this, I would love for us to have more life gain.
Yeah, that's where I struggle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate life gain. I don't like playing it. But it can be necessary sometimes.
I think that the way we look at it is we look at it as like, actually, first of all, we probably need Moment's Peace, right?
Moment's Peace. I like
Darkness.
I don't like Darkness. I think it's good. I don't like it.
Yeah, neither do I.
I like Weather the Storm. But I'm not certain about it in this list.
I'm tempted to say I'd like to have both Moment's Peace and Weather the Storm because they do different things. Like Moment's Peace is like helpful for commander damage, and you get 2 uses out of it, which is great. Like having one of this effect in the deck, I think is good.
Yeah, and you know, Weather the Storm also actually increases your life for Pestilence and Crypt Rats.
That's really...
Whereas, Fogs don't. And fogs only do something if people are swinging at you, unless you want to save other people, which notably is a thing that midrange wants to do sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, if the control player gets swung at, sometimes you gotta save them as much as you hate to do it.
Yeah.
Isn't that right, Gator?
Sometimes it's got to be done. I'm tempted to cut planner incision because it's just not displace or ghostly flicker.
Yep, that's fair. The deck isn't.
We're not.
It is flicker focused, obviously, but
it's flicker
the
forward.
Single flicker is.
Yeah, we got to get our portal copy in here. Got to get the old copies of these cards. Okay, so we're doing pretty good here. Still feeling like we're kind of removal light. We have 9, 13 removal spells, and then 14, 15. So, yeah, I mean, it's not bad. Snap. We're not doing high tide, which means that snap isn't like contributing to like any combo, which is like, I like snap when it is both a removal spell and a combo card, right? If you go Archaeo snap combo, but we're not doing that. So snap feels, I don't know, it's like not that great.
Snap is still good because it is quote unquote 0 mana if it resolves.
Yep.
And we are a blue deck, so it's really a question more so of if we have something we want to do with that mana afterwards. Otherwise, I play Echoing Truth over that. Not that we're debating replacing Echoing Truth with it, but adding to it. But I'd rather have a bounce spell that hits non-land permanents instead. In most cases, unless you're playing land enchantment ramp or you really have something to do with that mana every turn.
Yeah, I agree. What about the other card I was thinking about was Aether Snipe. As having a, or actually, you know what? Even better is, oh shucks, forgetting the name right now. Yeah, Dinrova Horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
pretty good.
The reason I like having Dinrova Horror is that it's a way in our deck to create like a physical lock that's also like a big body. If we flicker Dinrova Horror over and over, there are going to be certain decks that will really struggle with that. There were some other cards I was thinking about that were kind of in that same slot, like Aether Snipe and what's it called? It's 3 mana. If you have a black permanent in play, you bounce something. Or a blue permanent, I think it is.
One of those creatures. I don't know any of their names.
CMC equals 3, O, return, O, and then it's like O blue, O permanent. Yeah, there it is. Sidraxis Alchemist, which is basically a cheaper version of Aether Snipe. If you have a...
Yeah, this does also go with your ideal of having a creature and a spell that does it, because Capsize does the same thing if we have infinite mana.
That being said, we can do it with Dinrova. And Dinrova's a 4/4. Like, this is a beefy boy or girl tentacle. Yeah. Beefy tentacle. Yeah. So I would love to play more than one of them, but... Okay. So, 105 cards. There's some stuff that can't be touched. I feel like this ramp, like, I think 12 is where I wouldn't want to go any lower. We're not going to cut these. We're not going to cut these. We could cut one of these. I don't even know if reusing Mirror Shell Crab is good as part of the thing.
Yeah, it's...
You know?
So, it stops Grave Hate.
Kind of, yeah.
Sometimes. But, yeah, it's another thing where it's like you're in 3 color. You have...
Well, we don't even have any naturalizes yet, actually. We don't even have Return to Nature.
That's true.
And we don't have any graveyard hate except for Bajuka Bog.
We have Honored Heirloom.
Oh, we do.
And Bajuka
Good
Bog.
point. Good point. Yeah. So, let's see. Go.
Man.
Yeah, this is one of the tough things when you're in 3-color, is that you start getting pulled in a lot of directions.
You have so many options.
Yeah.
Colors very difficult.
Like, I was just realized that what makes me think that is we don't have any creature that ETBs like a I'd really love to have Conclave Naturalists in here. You know? Yeah.
Man, I wanted to say, do we need to cut one of the Edict creatures? But if you already think we're low on removal, that's probably not an option.
I think we are low on removal. So what are our options? I mean, it's tutors and it's counter spells is where we can cut from, and maybe Weather the Storm or like Moment's Peace. I think what I like about Weather the Storm over Moment's Peace is that we actually have 25 bodies in the deck. Like, it's kind of hard to attack us.
Yeah, we also have ways to actually use our life. I don't like fight and bite spells because we're in black and blue. So that's like the weakest form of removal we have access to.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, we do have some stuff that can fight, but like most of it can't.
And even if we do fight, if they remove our creature in response, the spell completely fizzles. So it's better to just... I'd rather play Murder than I would any fight spell.
I think Blood Fountain is a little bit redundant here.
Yeah, Blood Fountain's a pretty decent cut, I think.
It's good, but I don't think it's necessary. I think Urborg Repossession and Season Renewal are really good. We could cut. I mean, Dimir Houseguard is cherry on top. It's not necessary to tutor for. I mean, it gets so many different things, though, right? Like it's Archaeomancer, Vicious Battle Rager.
It gets Mancer, Pestilence, and Initiative,
and Monarch, and Draw, and Edict.
It gets Monarch, but do you ever tutor Monarch over Initiative?
No.
Yeah, so it does get Siphon Mind, Edict.
I mean, Dimir Houseguard in almost any black deck is going to give you amazing coverage. It's just a matter of, like, as my buddy Bobby would say, he's like, think about any tutoring spell and think about whether the spell that you're tutoring for is going to be worth 3 mana more than what you would normally pay. And I think a lot of time the answer is no. And I think what we oftentimes see is that the tutors are what make a mid-range deck more combo as opposed to less combo, because the cost of these tutors is
that is true.
There's a lot of costs to the deck for playing these.
Yeah, it's also sorcery speed, which makes it much more painful.
You have to have so much mana.
Speed, it'd be so much easier.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think we could also look at cutting Underdark Explorer. It is I value like thickness over like aggressive evasion in this deck. So like Avenging Hunter would be my preference over Underdark Explorer.
So
Underdark Explorer just doesn't block as well. Yeah,
that's fair.
And
it is still important that we have an aggressive method to win faster if we can't get to our win condition. But we do still have Mandrills and Gangler and Gary for flicker stuff.
Yeah.
As well as just the trap on initiative in the first place.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could see potentially cutting an initiative creature.
What about Archaeomancers? Do we have, let's see, 1...
We have 3,
two,
right?
3, yeah, okay.
I think 3 is the least.
Could cut Hooting Mandrills. Another option. It just seems like a great card in the deck, but Fat Panties saying Menace can get through. Yep, Menace is a good form of evasion. I just don't know if we really need that. Like, you know, like, yeah.
I like the Mandrill a lot.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, it forces, if we do lose it, it's a 4/4 at worst. And if we do lose it, they have to block with 4-butt or else we take it back. Whereas, you know, even with Menace, they just have to block with 2/0/1s and we can't get it back.
Mm-hmm. So Dizzy's spell is also, it's like Curfew, Reclaim, Vortex, Possession.
So it gets us Recursion, it gets us another tutor with Crop Rotation,
Removal,
Curfew,
Edict.
Removal. So
it's pretty good coverage.
A bunch of Recursion, some Removal, and a land tutor.
But the main one is Tortex, right?
Yeah, Tortex is the big one though.
Yeah, that's the big one. So Brain Spoil seems premium because of Peregrine Drake. And because it's modal, you can actually just kill things with it.
Yeah.
Trinket Mage admittedly is good, but it like
yeah.
It just feels so shitty because like Trinket Mage is so good in a 3-color deck, right? You're able to fix your mana, you're able to, you know.
But our only targets are removal,
lands. And we don't have any graveyard hate off of Relic or anything.
I mean, we can draw a card with Aether Spellbomb, but
that's true.
I don't want to do that.
Gator says, wouldn't the shadow creatures that can get better than Hooting Mandrills? I don't think so, because the shadow creatures don't block, and we need to be able to do that.
Yes, they do get through better.
Yeah.
But I would value the 4/4 body in this kind of deck more than hitting
like Dothy Slayer or something. Yeah. Is Merchant Scroll worth it? Fuck! We don't even have Merchant Scroll. But I mean, it is
Merchant Scroll.
Capsize, Echoing Truth, Displace, Ghostly Flicker. It hits none of our draw spells except for Brainstorm.
Yeah. If we play Merchant Scroll, I think we have to consider like Scattered Thoughts.
Yeah, we have to have or Mental. Actually, Mental Journey is kind of interesting because it does cycle for a land, basic land cycling.
Yeah, that's the 6-drop one though, right?
Yeah, it's pretty expensive. Speaking of which, by the way, I think we need to get Ash Barrens in here.
Yeah, Ash Barrens is good.
Yeah. Untapped land, gets us a color, fills our yard. Do we want to play the gain lands? They're tap lands, basically, so probably not.
No, I think we're already really high on tapped lands.
I'm just really high. Okay, so what do we got here? We could... man, tough calls, tough cuts.
3-color, everyone.
It's brutal. I think it's got to be one of these.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, I think it's Season of Renewal because it's instant.
Yeah.
I think that's a good card there. We could cut. I feel like Trinket Mage is probably the cut.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have
like a reasonable cut.
Doesn't have a ton of hits. So does that mean we reduce our artifact count here? Like get rid of Tree of Tales? Like
yeah, we're probably
artifacts don't matter anymore.
Yeah, if we have anything that cares about them, then we can keep them. But I don't think we do.
We have literally nothing. Literally nothing. We had Cranial Plating as a thought before, but it was taking the deck in too many directions. Look at that. We just cut lands and we get down to 100 cards. That's all you got to do.
That's always the answer.
Let's see. Oh, Fat Pennies was asking not about Merchant Scroll, but Gary. We've already got Gary. Gary is happily in the deck right here.
I think they're questioning if we should play it because we have low black devotion. We're a flicker deck.
This is a win condition.
So Gary on its own gains 6 life.
I like Gary a lot because of the fact that Gary plus Sultai is gain 9.
Yeah. Gary is just...
Very
he gains
good.
So much life for low investment.
It's pretty hard to pass on Gary. Do we want to, because we haven't switched over our lands, we still have the normal ramp package. We could be going back into some of those dual lands. We could do...
we didn't cut any of them, did we?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, no, we didn't. They're all there.
Yeah,
so
we were just saying if we did put in more artifacts duels, then we would have to cut them.
So is this just replaced by basics?
Yeah.
How funny.
Man. We can still play Snuff Out because we have land tutors still.
Yep, absolutely. I think Snuff Out is good in the deck.
Snuff Out when you're green is good.
Yep. We're really close. 103. I feel like we have a disturbing lack of draw too. There's a couple of holes I'm seeing here. Maybe this deck just can't play counter spells. Maybe that's what this recursion is for.
Yeah,
we just like
gonna go hard on Tortured Existence, then we can try to play fewer of them.
Like we could cut. Well, if we cut these, we can only add one draw spell.
Yeah, we start getting risky in terms of not protecting ourselves.
Yeah,
but
from dying
with other people.
Yeah, my worry is that like the counter spells here are kind of like similar to our removal and sweepers. It's like in context of like not dying to combo, right?
Right.
Which in that case, Perplex is not doing that job because if they want a combo,
yeah, Perplex doesn't help much in those scenarios as an actual counter spell.
Yeah,
it's not a great counter spell against things that are game winning because they're like, cool, discard my hand, make infinite mana.
Yeah, agreed. And if that's the case, then I don't think this makes the cut.
Yeah. We've already got Drift anyways too.
Just a tight little package of counters here, nothing crazy. Need to cut 2 more. None of this stuff looks even remotely cuttable. Maybe Conclave Naturalists.
Do you still have the fog in?
Moments Piece? Yeah. So we could cut one of those. We could cut Moments Piece.
I could see cutting Moments Piece.
There's also Weather the Storm. Like, Moments Piece doesn't take nearly as much work. You just cast it.
Yeah, it takes less work, but it doesn't give us life for Pestilence and Crypt Rats and stuff. So it's... But, you know, if we mill it off of our commander, it's obviously substantially better. So it becomes which aspect of that you want to play into.
Yeah. And we've got, let's see, for graveyards, we've also got Bajuka Bog, which is flickerable as well.
In terms of recoil gator, we do have Dinrava Horror already.
Yeah,
so we have our creature recoil.
Yep.
But recoil is a good card.
Yeah, good card for sure. Well, could we maybe... Boy, it's very abstract. Crop rotation.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of mid-range too. Like, you just gotta make the cuts. And when I do cuts for Satraxis Spectre especially, but in general, when I'm making cuts, I just move them to the considering.
Yeah.
I don't actually cut them.
Yeah.
And then I just play the deck and figure it out. And I'm like, oh, never mind. I have way more effective card draw than I thought I did. Guess I can maybe cut 1 or 2.
Uh-huh.
and stuff like that. But
I guess this card draw number looks lower than it actually is because we have all these like mnemonic wall effects, and we have initiative.
yeah, you have those, and you have a card draw in your command zone too. So
That's true. Good point. Good point. This is also draw. Yeah, we're fine on draw. Oh boy. So, man, 2 cuts. Well, there's always like cut negate, have these 2, and then cut. I guess I'm gonna say cut Weather the Storm, and then we've got Gary for life gain and Moment's Peace for fog, right? And then cut negate like that.
Possible.
Yep.
There can also be an argument for cutting Slum Reaper, but man,
yeah, feels like it's pretty important.
Yeah.
Like we're not in the dumpster for removal. We've got 4, 14, 16. That's not bad. It's like
that's not
pretty
bad.
reasonable. Mid-range usually like to be around 20, but it's fine.
And you know, Chain Devil is just
these are all
better.
reusable too. That's the other thing is like Flicker decks. One of the ways that they function is that you want to be able to reuse everything, whether it's the ETB or you want to be able to reuse the like an instant or a sorcery. That's where these decks really shine, is in being able to get card advantage by reusing a card over and over again. So
yeah, and you know, since we're not playing tokens in the first place, Chain Devil is just objectively better than Slum Reaper for us.
Yep. Well, we're at 100 cards.
But yeah,
I mean, this was let's see, how fast is that? That was
hour and a half.
Hour and a half? That's not bad. That might be one of the faster ones I've done ever. Oh.
Yeah, starting with combo packages helps speed it up.
It does. Yeah, that's true. And actually, we have even more recursion than I noticed before. Oh, that's how it messed up my land count, because Bajuka Bog is supposed to be in there. 35. Did I get that all correct? Okay. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, we're at 35 lands.
Yeah. Wow. Well, and $100. Look at that, just exactly at $100. That's that was
Dollar Dreadful new format.
$100 Dreadful. Yeah, fantastic. Well, let's take this through a couple spins on the playtest here. Unkeepable. This is a keep. This is a great keep, actually. I think we return Conclave Naturalist or Pestilence, one of the two.
Probably the Naturalist.
Probably the Naturalist, yeah. And we've got a Forest Island here, so we can go Forest Island, Coiling Oracle,
even without
or
a swamp, it's so hard to shuffle away Pestilence.
I know, right? Yeah, yeah. Can we do test hands and see it played through in the Goldfish process? Absolutely. I bet that just came through a moment after we started doing this. So
it just takes a bit.
Yeah. So we'll draw here. Look at that. Look at that top deck. It's a swamp. So what we'll do is go island.
Yeah, you play your Simic first for your creature.
Oh, good draw.
Probably.
So yep, Simic, and then I was thinking,
do you drop the creature or do you drop the
turn 3 Monarch or creature? I think we do turn 3 Monarch, to be honest.
I mean, obviously it depends on the table too. I'm not
yeah.
Monarch against Largo.
No, exactly. Yeah, no. This is not prescriptive, chat. This is just saying, like, in a vacuum, you'd either play this on turn 2 or you play this. What I like about getting the Thorn down is that potentially we could like Rush of Knowledge as well, draw 4 cards. So there's some stuff we can do. So let's just get this out there. Turn 3, I want to say turn 3 Monarch is usually pretty safe. Safer than a lot of stages of the game. So we'll Monarch draw there.
It's just the turn 2 Dargos that are horrifying.
Yeah. So if we draw for turn,
then it is a Death Toucher, so it does.
Like, watch this.
Try to scare them away.
We just go 5 mana, commander. I mean, I think like this is pretty safe. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's safe against combat.
Yeah.
You know, this is a very bad hand against combo. But
so do we do Shadow Prophecy because we have all 3 land types here? Or
Shadow's not
I mean, Fleshbag Marauder is also a way for us to keep the Monarch right now. Fat Pants Panty's asking, have you ever considered building Gut? Yeah, Gut. Me personally, I have not, and the reason being for that, and I don't know that this is necessarily the correct reason, so I'll just caveat what I'm about to say with that, because I'm not focused on building purely novel things. A lot of this content is for you all to see the thought process that like some of the top deck builders in this format are using to consider the card choices in their deck. We're not trying to build something like completely unique every time we sit down. Oh, you can definitely bring that cat into chat. You know they'll love it.
Oh yeah.
Yep. The cat's got its own mind. So it's not necessarily that like every one of these videos I need to build something novel that nobody's ever seen before, brand new, you know. It's totally okay if we do stuff where it's like, yeah, let's take Gut and let's bring in, you know, and you know, bring in the current thoughts and choices. Oh, kitty. Meow. Oh my god, what a cute cat. Beautiful. So yeah, we could totally do a Gut deck. The only reticence I have around it is that there's so many people who are already building like amazing Gut decks, and I feel like that work has largely been done.
Yeah, there's a lot of Gut.
Yeah, Nate did Gut Feywild. We have Gator did Gut Inspiring Leader. We've had Gator also doing Gut Cloakwood Hermit. And we've had people do, what else? Gut Iron Throne has been some stuff that I've seen lately. I could see myself doing Gut Iron Throne. I have not seen people play as much Gut Iron Throne. And I really like that. It seems really good. Yeah, like the black card advantage is really efficient and it's cheap, and it doesn't matter that it hurts you really because you're an aggressive deck. I think the Gut decks are, just broadly speaking, Gut is just a fantastic commander in this format right now. If you're playing anybody who has initiative, the fact of the matter is an initiative player will not be able to hold the initiative from you if you're a Gut player. If a player goes turn 3 Passageway Seer and you go turn 3 Gut and you hit them with the 4/1, you're gonna get it. So yeah, so I think Gut decks are great, just as an aside. So let's play through this playthrough here. I don't necessarily think we need ramp. I think it's between these two, right?
Yeah, situational. Do you need the removal or do you need the card draw? I guess, do you need the removal or do you not?
We already have card draw. You know, like we already have like this is about to draw us 5. So I think this is actually the pick right here. And plus like this plus that is very good. So let's just pitch these. We can go and get them later on. We can go get them back later on if we want. And Brain Spoil we can get back later on to tutor for Peregrine Drake. So I like that. We'll get that
and
there.
And obviously the thing about goldfishing is
you don't know what.
Goldfish is less accurate to the game because there's more factors to consider from each other player. That's
a really good point. The way I look at goldfishing is I'll generally try and take the most general approach as possible. Yeah. So like in that case there, obviously if you were like, oh, like Christmas land, you probably just go Shadow Prophecy.
The safe picks the Marauder,
or Nature's Lord,
Spoil,
actually, Brain Spoil, tutor for Peregrine Drake. Yeah,
it's the fact that you can hold it to tutor, or if you know that somebody's going to Peregrine Drake after you untap, you can hold up that piece of targeted removal because you don't have access to that in your hand right now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so lots of options there, but that was actually pretty sick. Like we could ramp, we could tutor or kill something. we could draw more cards, or we could edict the board. That was actually like a very insane flip off of this here. Gator's asking, are you playing Resculpt? You know, Resculpt is actually really good in the deck because we have Sultai Soothsayer. So 4/4 bouncing off of a 2/5.
Another card to deal with.
I know. No, that's a great recommendation, Gator. And actually, I like putting Resculpt in decks that have a 5 toughness creature, like Murmuring Mystic, because usually they send that 4/4 elsewhere. Resculpt feels like shit when they hit you with the 4/4, but it feels fucking amazing when they hit other people.
Yeah, it's near unplayable in Sidrax's Spectre.
I think we need to add, that was a great recommendation. We need to add Resculpt. It's also going to be a way to hit Graveyard Hate, which is super important. So, okay, so we draw this off of Soothsayer. We draw this off Monarch. We untap and draw. Tortex. Talk dirty to me. Oh my god. That is...
So yeah, get rewarded for taking Fleshbag, although you could get it anyways.
Yep.
Because, yeah.
So what do we even do here? We like, so we have 5 mana available.
An absurd amount of options that are also dependent.
Yeah. This is kind of where it falls apart a little bit because we have so many
you draw 5, you set up Tortured Existence or Pestilence for later.
Yeah.
You can Fleshbag and then loop it with your
Jesus.
Boiling Oracle.
Oh god, it's so good.
Yeah.
So let's just pretend we're on the mid-range plan. So it would look like 1 mana Tortex, 1, 2, 3, 4 Fleshbag Marauder. Everybody sacks something. We play we probably like Rimewood Falls.
Yeah, it's either the tapped land or the bog.
Rimewood Falls, we're gonna go draw for Monarch, and then end of turn we pay black, swap these two, and then we untap and draw a card. And I think this is where we look into doing like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could have 7 mana, so we're not quite at Fleshbag into Rush, and we're not quite at the point where we want a Pestilence. We can't actually Pestilence for more than 1. No, we can. We have 1. No, we
have
2.
Swamp in hand as well.
Oh yeah, so we could go Swamp, and we would have black.
Yeah, so
which is actually pretty good.
This Goldfish, the deck is slow. We did nothing for the first 3 turns.
Yep. So
and then you know put down Monarch and started going.
So I started blasting.
Yeah.
Like that, and then what we can do is we can pop it for 2. Let's assume that we have to do that. And then we're going to draw for Monarch as well off of that. And then we're going to untap. And at this point, like, I think we go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Drawing the Salvager
5
really makes me think you go Rush.
Yeah, that's what I was.
You start digging.
Yeah,
you can at worst add back Brain Spoil and tutor the
Jesus. This is gross. Gator says, what's awesome is that you're playing Tortured Existence. I didn't see it. Is Spore Frog in there? Oh, Spore Frog with Tortured Existence. I don't like Spore Frog very much, and the reason I don't like it is that people can just kill it and then attack you, and they kill it during your turn.
Yeah, that's true.
So like if you imagine somebody goes Thunderclap, it is a good card, but I think that we're probably better off with Weather the Storm or Moment's Peace. If we had more slots, here's another thought. Okay, there could be another build of this deck that is purely mid-range, no combo. Like if you think about all the slots we have dedicated to it, like, and we focused on a Cranial Plating plan, and we focused on like Basilisk Gate, that's kind of an interesting thought. It's a whole different deck, but in that deck I could see Spore Frog being very good, right? Make it really like a hard thing to like hit us back. It's something that Derek from the RC has been talking about, which is like playing Fogs in aggro decks, which is kind of a weird thought. Like, why would you ever want to do that? Well, because there's 3 players who might want to come after you if you completely expose yourself to violent death. Yeah, so that can happen. Well, this is obviously a game that we're doing fine in, right? And that's mainly what we check to see with these playtests, is that this is a great, well...
Yeah, it's slow.
Slow.
But it does have some inevitability, which, you know.
Like, this is what makes me want to keep that hand, is like the lands to cast this. So we just divination. Let's just give it a shot. So we'll go island. We'll tutor for another island, I guess. Island, forest, swamp.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then we...
yeah, our spread is... I guess we actually have slightly more black than we do blue, but...
Really?
Yeah, by 1%.
Oh, wow. Huh. So nothing there. Oh, look at that. Haha. This is going to be instant speed, so end of turn we'll go instant speed, look at the top 3. Wow. This is not useful to us yet, and it won't likely be useful anytime soon, but neither is this. So I think we just go reclaim, put these in hand, and then we draw for turn. Wow. Look at all that. Look at all these check-ins. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, Honored Heirloom, 1, 2, Coiling Oracle. Look at the top card, and we just draw that, right?
Yeah. I mean...
Yep. And then pass.
Yeah, so we definitely have enough card draw.
Yeah, plenty. In fact, like, that entire anxiety around not having enough cards is like completely unfounded. I'm sitting on like Treasure Cruise, Secrets of the Golden City, Rush of Knowledge. What the fuck? Like, it almost feels like too much.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Treasure Cruise seems cuttable.
Yep, we could cut Treasure Cruise. But Treasure Cruise is so good with our commander.
It is. But if we've already got this much card draw, you could cut that for resculpt.
Brainstorm is another one. We could cut Brainstorm. Brainstorm's like only one card.
Cuttable. Yeah.
You know? It's only one card. I just like... I see what you were talking about with Brainstorm, but it's also like... Why would I play Brainstorm?
Because it's something to do on the first couple turns to guarantee
it's
you
true.
are actually in the game.
That being said, though, like the interaction we were talking about when we chose Brainstorm was Brainstorm with Sultai Soothsayer, right?
Yeah, that's just the ceiling.
Yeah, I think it goes.
You do have Ash Barons and Tutors, so I don't think it's horrendous.
And there's there's also like into the North, Nature's Lore, Rampant Growth. Maybe it's not. Maybe it is something that's just like really good.
It's so good.
Okay, no, I feel it because we've got lots of ways to shuffle. We have Rampant Growth, Nature's Lore, Into the North, Farseek, Revisits.
That's what's important for Brain Spoil, or not Brain Spoil.
You need a shuffle. Brain Spoil. Yeah. Well, you know, I think this deck is looking really good.
We're already playing Gurmag and Mandrills, so I don't think cutting Treasure Cruise is insane. Personally, but...
Okay.
And, you know, we're relying on our graveyard with Tortured Existence.
So, yeah, we are. Like, it's kind of funny, there's tension. Like, we don't really want to exile stuff out of our graveyard, do we?
We don't want to exile at all.
Yeah. So what
we are playing Flicker, so we don't want to exile at all either.
So, like, what are we putting in if we cut Treasure Cruise, though?
Resculpt.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. All right. Sold. Yeah, I think Resculpt is fantastic in this deck. It makes me so excited when the Resculpt token just goes elsewhere. It's awesome. Such a good feeling. Yeah. Righteous. Well, this is slick. Let's do a little thing here. I'm noticing my energy is flagging a little bit here. But what I do want to do is take a stab at like a maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't. I'm wondering whether we just like, because like this right here, this is what we're doing on this series is we build the deck out to the point where it's like, this looks reasonable. I would play this. This looks good. And then you test it. And as Clay always talks about, like the real proving ground is when you start playing and testing the deck. And so like you can only get so far theory crafting. You really do need to take it to the Coliseum and bloody it. And this is very reasonable. We have interaction for the board. We have a lot of nice synergies and looping capacity. We have a dynamic approach that takes into account all the things that could happen in a game. We've got fogs, graveyard hate, naturalizes, life gains, edicts, flickers to protect our stuff and reuse the ETBs, tons of different like dynamic recursion here, and then tutors to find our combo. So pretty like happy with where we're at here. I think the vision I have for this is now I'd like to take this and just try out like a mid-range or a control version of it, where you just have like,
I was gonna say the beauty of 3-color mid-range is that you will never ever finish your deck.
You'll never ever finish your deck. Yeah, I mean this has the same problem that any like blue-based 3-color deck has, which is like you can play the combo in it, and like there's the tension is that as you play the combo, you want to start playing all this other stuff, like these tutors, there's just like, you want to start playing counter spells. It like sucks you down this rabbit hole. Whereas when you're playing mid-range, you really just focus on trying to get a good balance of different effects. And the combo does come at the cost of that. Like if I were doing this, maybe I would end up cutting like Drift of Phantasms, I would cut Peregrine Drake, like Brain Spoil, Dizzy Spell, probably Reclaim would come out too, and then I might keep the Flickers just because they're good with like Initiative. They're good with the Edicts. They're good with Monarch, even with the Archaeomancers. Like you could keep the Archaeomancers genuinely, right?
Yep.
I think they're really good because Sultai Soothsayer is in the deck. So
yep.
Yeah. So like, like 7, maybe even 10 cards different. And then you just play more removal, play some more mid-range threats. You probably be playing the Trinket Mage and the Cranial Plating. And then, and the Basilisk Gate. So I think that's what you do if you're going mid-range, is that your lands shift towards Basilisk Gate. You might play some more like ETB draw creatures that fly, like something like Cloudkin Seer. You could play... Yeah, like...
well, that's just the worst version of the white card. Never thought I'd say that.
It is. Huh? It is just the worst version of Inspiring Overseer. But I think we might still play it, right?
Oh yeah, it's still playable, especially if you have Cranial Plating.
Now, that being said, if we are playing Cranial Plating, I actually do see an argument for some of the shadow creatures, because we can sit behind Soothsayer, and there's a couple of them that are like pretty heavy. Like there's one that's a 2-mana Suspend, and it's a 3/1 for Suspend 2. So you go, suspend that, comes out as hasty 3/1, and it's unblockable, and you start hitting people with it. And late game, you just slap a Cranial Plating on that bad boy and start really, applying pressure. So there's some really cool angles there. But I think for now we can just like let this be. This combo mid-range, I think that's a fair thing.
Yeah, I think it leans more towards that. Honestly, it might be the other way around at this point, but kind of needs play tested to know for sure.
Yep. So okay, fuck it. Here, let's just do this. Let's just do this. I'm dithering around it. Let's just here. All right. Yeah. I'm dithering. Okay. Cut this. You can see I'm much more practiced at the mid-range thing here. I don't know that this changes a whole lot. Capsize maybe. Right?
Yeah, capsize could come out for a better interaction spell.
Brain spoil we don't need anymore. I like Dinrova Horror. It's just a big 4/4 as well, so that's pretty interesting. Especially if we keep the flickering, and the flickering just seems good.
Yeah.
And then we cut Dizzy Spell. House Guard's great. It's getting Pestilence. We put in Cranial Plating. And then we're going to do Trinket Mage.
And you can consider Blood Fountain too.
I think Blood Fountain becomes better. Yeah, because our creatures are a little bit different quality.
You're going to be more creature oriented, and it gives you 2 artifacts in 1 card for plating, and it's a tutor target for Trinket Mage.
So we go in, and I think we go all the way in on the artifacts and the gates.
Yeah.
Yep. Which means that our ramp changes. So we get rid of we basically can't do the dual thing anymore, right? So Into the North comes out, Farseek comes out, Nature's Lore comes out, Rampant Growth. Maybe. I feel like we might end up just like putting Everflowing Chalice here or something. Soul Manipulation is also a great idea for mid-range. I like that.
For creature.
Yeah.
For creature. Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, Soul Manipulation, counter target creature spell, and return a creature. You choose one or both, but let's throw that in there. I like that. I really like how much this recursion package will pressure people's graveyard hate. Okay, so like that, and then we'll do Everflowing Chalice because we have the Trinket Mage. So I think that's a nice pairing there, even if it is colorless. And then we probably play the other. We've already got the Signets. We've already got the Stone. So what are the other ones? We were saying Bonder's Ornament.
Yeah, Bonder's Chalice, potentially.
Everflowing Chalice?
Yeah.
We already have that one. We got that one.
Okay, you got that one?
We could do Lantern of Revealing. We could do Network Terminal.
Network Terminal was one, yeah.
I like Network Terminal in this. And we just need one more. Lantern has been meh for me.
Yeah, maybe Mind Stone?
Mind Stone. We're going to cut Shadow Prophecy as well.
You could also play Letter of Acceptance.
Commander Sphere would be the...
Commander Sphere, yep, that's the base one.
Yep, that's one to dip into first.
I always forget about that card.
Yeah, it's an easy one to forget.
Thanks, normal Commander. Made me hate that card so much.
Commander Sphere?
Yeah, everyone played it, and I was like, this card's so bad.
It's so bad.
For normal Commander, it is bad. Don't play it. Here, it's pretty playable.
Okay, so Basilisk Gate.
Yeah, if you just search Gate and just...
Oh, yeah. So type Gate.
Yeah.
So Black Dragon, Dimir. I think we play all of them except for the Plaza.
Yeah, the Plaza is playable, but it's not great.
It's not good. Well, it's funny. It is 1 mana of any color, so it is like a backup.
Yeah, it's still a command tower, which I don't think we added command tower.
Oh, we didn't. Okay,
we didn't work too hard on the mana base.
Yeah. Yeah, so and I'll add you as a editor here too.
I don't know what kind of basic to cut. Probably an island.
Yeah, I didn't. The mana base is not refined at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, great recommendation by the way, Gator, for Soul Manip. I think that's a good choice. So now we need to cut the Woodland Chasm, and we cut Rimewood Falls. We cut Ice Tunnel, Haunted Mire. We keep Aqueduct. We get rid of Contaminated Aquifer. Cutting Basics. And then I feel like, let's see, wait, Aqueduct. Are all the weird ones out? Oh, we don't even have the other duels in yet, right? So we got to go bridge and look up the other, like Tangle Pool and Dark Moss. Because we're cranial plating.
Yep.
Cranial plating. Plating.
Yep. Gotta add in all the artifact lands.
So that does increase the number of tap lands we're running pretty dramatically to go into gates.
Yeah, for Spectre, the only tapped lands are gates and dual artifact duels.
You know what makes it better though is we're playing mana rocks instead of mana ramp.
Yep.
Or land ramp, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're gonna have to go down on. Oh boy.
Are you keeping your snow duels and stuff?
No, there's no way, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
That means we have 1, 2. So let's see, 1. Let's see, 1, 2. Oh man, we gotta cut more lands. Is Heap Gate necessary?
It helps make artifacts for plating. I'm not sure. So you can cut Heap Gate and Plaza, or you could cut the bounce land.
Yeah, the bounce land might be it too.
And maybe Mortuary Mire can get cut.
Yeah, we are going up on that effect. Makes crop rotation kind of like only Bojuka Bog.
End up cutting crop rotation.
Oh, you would. But the thing is that we don't even have Opal Palace in here either.
Yeah, Opal Palace is probably
it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's probably. Study Hall seems pretty good.
Study Hall, I was just thinking, right? Like
considering you scry and then you
yeah,
filter 4 seems pretty decent.
You could easily have a game where you're like digging 7 deep with your commander.
Yeah,
that's a lot. That's a lot.
I mean, it dies twice and then you dig.
Yeah.
7 seems pretty.
Okay. All right.
Decent.
This
seems
mana
like
base is gonna
be considered in the combo version.
Oh, that's a good point. Damn, dude.
Put it in the considering at least.
Okay, so maybe we aren't. Well, no. Crop rotation is so good because we're looking for Basilisk Gate, and then when we don't need it, we have like Bojuka. Like in a pinch, we'll have Bojuka Bog, Mortuary Mire type stuff. It's interesting. There's real tension between cranial plating and Basilisk Gate, and there always has been.
Yep.
So maybe what we do is we cut down on some of the artifact. The funny thing is that the artifact lands aren't the issue.
Nope.
It's the gates. The gates are the. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4.
You get 9 gates.
5, 6. 7.
If you play all of them.
So 7 is what we have currently.
And yeah, 2 of them are untapped. So 7 tapped gates, and then the 3 tapped artifacts is 10. Plus your Bojuka Bog, Mortuary Mire.
So I just need to cut 1 land, which would be an island. Yeah. I mean, it's just like a scary amount of. Let's see, 1, 2, 3.
Close the deck down.
15. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 5, 11, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 untapped lands. That's actually not as bad as I thought it was. It's like 2/3 untapped. I'd like it to be better, but I mean, maybe that's the price of paying Basilisk Gate, Because Basilisk Gate wants to.
Is.
Basilisk Gate and Cranial Plating kind of want to go in the same decks because you basically want to be able to turn any threat into a monster, and both of them do that just by playing your deck. Like just by ramping, cranial plating becomes good. Just by playing out, lands. Basilisk Gate is less good than cranial plating in a lot of ways. You have to do it at sorcery speed, so maybe Basilisk Gate isn't fitting here.
Yep, there is potential to not play Basilisk Gate for sure.
And then we just focus on. I played Basilisk Gate recently, and it didn't feel very good.
You need a lot of evasive creatures for it to be good.
Like,
Whereas, plating is like I swing with more creatures than you can block with, and then I equip it to the one you don't block.
yep, exactly. And the thing about Basilisk Gate that works better in 60 card is that it usually taps for a lot more than what we're tapping for here. Like,
You have 4 copies of your 2 gates that you're playing.
Yep.
Plus you are more likely you get to use your removal on the blockers, which you don't get to do here.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe Basilisk Gate isn't where we want to be.
The one thing that Basilisk Gate does do better is the
toughness.
fact that it pumps toughness for Pestilence. But then you have to activate Pestilence on your turn.
Which is not awful necessarily.
Which, you can use it to pump the toughness and then Pestilence remove blockers.
Yep.
And smash somebody. But yeah, it's personal preference for sure.
So what are we adding in then? We're actually 3 cards lower. Do we go more removal?
Probably, right? You want more interaction of some sort at this point.
Like Victim of Night.
Night could be good.
And then Grasp of Darkness is the other one. They're both double black.
Double pip, right?
And they're both double pip.
So
we could do Cast Down Doomblade.
I was thinking Victimize. Right? Or no? Is that the one? Which one am I thinking of?
What's the card?
Vendetta.
Oh,
there we go.
No. There's Ghosts. Well, there's Vendetta, but what about Ghastly Demised with our commander? That's also, an option, but it's not like awful. Non-black scares me.
Yeah, non-black is painful, but we do already have a decent amount of removal, so it doesn't hurt as much.
We could also completely pull, we could pull Dispersal Shield and focus mainly on removal, and then only play Arcane Denial and Soul Manip because they kind of draw us a card.
Yeah,
I think that's a reasonable thing to do.
That's a potential option.
We probably want to look at like another card that's not in here is Bone Pick. Well, actually, Vampire Sovereign would be good in this deck.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of this chonky flying 3/4 that drains.
Yeah. Candlekeep Sage's potential for more card draw if that's necessary, but to kill non-spirit Rendflesh.
Yep, Rendflesh. So here's the thing: when
is 3 CMC though.
When you get into 3 CMC, there's a couple of good ones. The one you don't start usually with Rendflesh. You start with Obnixilus's Cruelty, and the reason is that Obnixilus's Cruelty is -5/-5, which is most things die to that, and it exiles. So it's Obnixilus's Cruelty, and then it's Rendflesh, and then it's Eyelight's Ending, and then after that, you're into stuff like Ashes to Ashes, which is really good, but we don't have the life to support that, I don't think.
I'm trying to think of anything relevant that doesn't die to Obnix.
It has to be pumped.
I'm having a really hard time.
like Vicious Battle Rager with Forge is one example.
Yeah,
but even Underdark Explorer with Forge dies.
Yeah.
The things that don't die to it are things that came off of the throne.
Yeah.
But that's it. It's not much.
Yeah.
Brianlin, I guess, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Obnixilus' cruelty is
It's
very good.
very good. Yeah, it's better than murder in most cases. And the exile can be really relevant because if you think about what it hits, Obnixilus' cruelty kills every combo creature in the format,
Yeah.
and when it
Nice
does,
Archaeomancer.
it is gone, gone, gone. Yeah, you kill a Peregrine Drake, it's like bye bye. It is gone, gone, gone. So we've got some more slots here. We could put in like a couple of shadow creatures. Oh, we probably put in the Entourage of Trest.
Yeah, that's possible.
I can never spell that word. Well, how is it spelled? Entou. So it's like courage, but it's entourage. It's like entourage. It's like courage, but with a T.
Yeah.
Yes. What about extort? Extort.
What
could go.
about? Oh, what's this card's name? I'm gonna throw out a meme here.
Oh, we don't even have Lignify in the deck. We didn't even have Lignify in the other version.
I'll find the card. You continue.
What would I? Man, there's so many other packages we could have in here. Oh.
Yep, 3-color, baby.
Fuck, it's so hard. It's so hard. It's like cPDH 3-color is kind of painful.
Yep, it's not easy.
Yeah, see, this is why I brought you on, Puzzle. You know the pain. It's like, yeah, I have to bring on the people best positioned to do this kind of stuff. Like I'm going to be doing Ravenous Squirrel, and we'll be trying out Praxia Mogamesh to see if they are sadomasochistic enough to enjoy the process of building with a deck that has 300 playable cards.
The card I was thinking of is an uncommon. Never mind.
Do we want any Cascade in here? Like just Annoyed Altasaur?
I mean, I guess you're not playing counter spells, so Altasaur is probably pretty good.
Yeah, Altasaur seems great. A big chonker at the top end. I just want to Cascade Annoyed Altasaur into Nova Horror. That'll be cool.
Yes.
Or Annoyed Altasaur into Grey Merchant. Be fun. There's some cool stuff in here like that. What about that's we're back to 100 cards. And things actually look pretty similar. Maybe Coiling Oracle. Coiling Oracle seems really good in this deck. Like I just kind of excited about that card.
Not bad.
Yeah. It's kind of a pretty looking deck. The colors are nice. Nice colors. Rampant Growth is still here. Zonko says, so we need more common board wipes. I'm not necessarily certain we do. I understand what you're talking about. Like, oh, we don't have Wrath of God and all that. But like the context to cPDH is that everything that matters, but not everything, but most of the things that matter, like 95% of it is creatures. And most of them aren't more than 3 toughness. And so that means that like Fiery Cannonade, Breath Weapon, which hit 2, and then Pestilence, Crypt Rats, and then Swirling Sandstorm. Those cards are all like perfectly sufficient to like keep the creatures under control. I think like the initial thought is that, and I think like coming from cEDH or something or EDH, it does feel like, oh, there's no Wrath of God here. Like that's a problem. But damage-based sweepers like that do perfectly fine.
Red deals with the aggressive decks with its sweepers, and black deals with the mid-range.
All we need is a Pyrohemia downshift.
Oh, dear Lord. Yeah.
Please, WotC, hear my plea. Hear my call.
I'm a fan of Pyroclasm myself.
Pyroclasm
is pretty good too.
Pyroclasm would be totally fine, but man, give me Red Pestilence. I will ask for nothing else.
I don't think I want to play against Rakdos with 2 Pestilence.
Oh, I do. I want to play. I want to play that. I want to be that person.
I don't want to play in that 5-hour game.
This is Puzzle saying, I don't want to live in that world. I won't do it. I mean, the funny thing is that when you get 2 pestilences on the board, things get really messy. And you rapidly get into like weird territory where people can't win the game anymore because of that situation. Yeah. But that being said, Pyrohemia it just makes me so happy. Okay, so, and then in terms of sweepers, we have 2 of them. I think that's probably plenty fine. The other sweepers, by the way, that people don't always think about are Evankar's Justice, which is really good. We could be playing that here too. In fact, there might be a good argument for that because almost none of our stuff dies to it. Just our Archaeomancers. The other thing is Eyeblight's Ending, which is -2/-2 to all non-elf creatures. So that one does the same thing.
Relevant text. The non-elf is unfortunately relevant.
There's a lot of elf ramp. Yeah, where people are just like, I throw in the elf ramp package. You know, like the Arbor Elf and the Llanowar Elves and all that stuff. So
Priest of Titania.
Yeah, Priest, yeah. Totally. And that Elvish Guidance card. And then there's the last one is there's 2 other ones to keep in mind. Arms of Hadar, which just says target player.
4 mana, right?
4 mana, target player gets -2/-, or target creatures target player controls gets -2/-2. And then there's also a red one called Bloodfire Infusion, which is an aura, and you can tutor for it with Shrine Keeper or Shrine Steward. And it's 3. Here, let me look it up. It is 2 and a red, 2 enchanted creature, and then you can pay a single red to sacrifice that creature at instant speed and deal damage equal to its power to each creature.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, I've seen that in a couple Dargo lists.
Yep, and it can only hit your creatures. So there's that. Because it would be pretty funny if you like put this on your opponent's creature, sacked it to blow up the board. That would actually be really hype.
Get around indestructible.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's dirty. Red edicts are real. Yeah. So, anyways, so this is like pretty close. I would want to do like more tuning with this before I gave it the the Papa mid-range stamp of approval. Because
3-color really needs play tested before you can confirm that it exists.
Before you confirm that it exists, yeah.
Like it's guaranteed to have a list because the commander is good and you have 3 colors.
Yeah.
So there's a list out there that will work. And
this here, I wouldn't feel uncomfortable trying this out. You know, like this has the ingredients to be good.
It's a little slow.
But that be mid-range. I mean, it just kind of is the nature of the beast. There's other stuff we would do here too. Like we'd probably replace some of these draw spells, like maybe we'd probably play Owlbear in here. That's another one.
Yeah.
This is just a good gotta change this printing here. By the way, I just saw the ad for the new D&D movie that's coming out, and there is an owlbear scene in it that looks really cool. I just wanted to point that out. It's an albino owlbear.
Interesting.
So maybe, are the Archaeomancers good here still? Maybe...
let's see.
Maybe Pneumatic Wall... There's some powerful spells to get, and we could loop it.
Still grab Rush of Knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, the spells that we do have are really good. We only have 23 instants and sorceries in the deck, which is a quarter. That's a lot. That's enough.
Yeah. They've got plenty of targets, especially with your commander.
Yeah. I think they're really good. We just need to cut a card now. But yeah, there's a there. And then
you guys get the idea.
Yeah, you get the idea for sure. So I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Just lean on the fact that this is one of the shorter Let's Builds. Because really we kind of finished the Let's Build an hour ago, so we'll just we'll just say that the second half is a whole new video. Yeah, dude, Puzzle, I really appreciate you coming in and doing this deck build with me. Another one, another notch in the cap here. We've had two really good builds so far.
Looks like they've got 3 if you want to go test it too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. We will need to be testing this. Clay here messaging me with something. Just wanted to check. Oh yeah, just some other relevant information there. Was there a LFG video here? Or let's see. Oh, Aaron asking if we want to play. Oh my god.
That's what I'm saying. You got a bot if you want to go test it.
Oh my god. The thing is, I think I'm gonna go and actually call it quits early. I feel like I'm just a little sleep deprived right now, and then do some reading, eat some food, and I'll get to play testing this on another day. I'll leave that pod slot for you to go and enjoy that. But yeah, so dude, just thank you, appreciate it, man. It's always good to have you on these deck builds. Yeah. And chat, thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed this content and you want to support what we're up to, if you just leave us a like on the way out. If you want to see more of the content we're putting out there, subscribe. If you want to get notified when we are going on at live times, going live at odd times, hit the little bell icon. And then just know that we've restructured the YouTube homepage so that we have basically have all the live streams will be at the top, and we're going to be populating that out. I'm scheduling currently like 3 weeks to a month out, so we're going to have a bunch of stuff coming. So keep an eye on that. And yeah, just thank you for your attention and for coming and joining us. Yeah, we'll call it a quits there. But Connoisseurs of Fine Common Cardboard, thanks for joining us. I hope you have a great rest of your day, evening, morning, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.